Well, there's only one great legend sitting in this room right now. And wherever he goes, he remains that. They're still talking in the background. Um, and I'd like to introduce, if not the greatest, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, Mr. Larry Holmes. Sir, how are you?
Thank you. I'm okay now that you're here.
You are in London right now. What is the purpose of your visit to the UK?
Well, we want to promote our book, and we want to, do these commercials and stuff like that. And we just wanted to take a ride.
It's been a long ride, hasn't it?
Just long ride. Long ride.
Can you remember your last fight?
Yeah, it was December. I think it was December. I don't really remember right now because you got me in a
I
bad.
caught you in a bad thing there.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I ask that is because you had so many amazing fights. You, whenever we talk about the best jab or the greatest heavyweights of all time, you're in the conversation in the top five. Your jab is arguably the greatest ever in boxing.
It was on time, and that's one of the things that I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn how to fight. I wanted to learn how to jab. And I tell these guys in here now, learn your jab. And I even try to show them and demonstrate the jab. And they get it when they understand it. And that's what boxing needs.
Well, we saw it on Saturday in Las Vegas. Dimitri Bivol used his jab so effectively. Yes, he's a bigger man than Canelo. I don't know if you saw the fight, but he used his jab effectively, and Canelo never really got going.
Well, that's what it's all about. They use that jab to keep you drunk, and then they mug you. And so, therefore, use the jab. Don't go out there trying to knock somebody out right away. It'll come.
Tell me, Larry, how did you? Who was it that taught you that is the foundation of boxing? Because everything you did was off your jab.
I learned a lot of this stuff from Muhammad Ali. I worked with him as a sparring partner for 4 years, 5 years. And why not put it to work? I mean, Ali, he worked for Ali. He was good with jab, right hand, left hook, jab, jab. He'd do that until the time ran out. So why can't I do it? So they talking about you stealing from Muhammad Ali. I ain't stealing nothing. I'm borrowing it. He can have it back.
It's funny, I remember calling Angel, your secretary, a few years ago, and I think it was just before Ali passed away. And you were in one of your rumbustious moods, yeah? And I asked you about Ali, about him, was he the greatest? And obviously he fought you very late in his career. You didn't want to fight him. As you say, you spent 4 years around him. He'd been a tutor to you in some ways.
And one thing about it, I don't want to do, I don't never want to take away from somebody's fame, whatever, say they're the greatest or they're not the greatest. Ali was one of the greatest fighters of all time that I met. I had the pleasure of meeting. I had the pleasure of eating his food.
Yep.
Running on his ground. And I had that pleasure. And then when people say, what about Muhammad Ali? I try my best to explain it, but it's unexplainable because he did so much of everything.
The day I got you, though, you were in a rumbustious mood. You said the greatest. You said he was the stupidest, and there was a reason for that, wasn't there?
Yeah.
You were thinking back to him.
Well,
you using him as a punch bag and him not punching back in some of those sessions.
Exactly. You don't go out like that. If you can go out standing on your feet, just like me when I fought Mike Tyson, I shouldn't have came out of retirement. I came out of retirement and I fought Mike Tyson and I lost. He stopped me. And so therefore, if I'd have kept doing that, I'll be talking like that. So therefore, you quit while you're ahead.
Why did you come back against Mike Tyson? Why do fighters do that? Why are they drawn back? It's the money, is it?
It's the money. It's the money. If I give you $1,000, maybe not $1,000, if I give you some money right now, you probably take me. Come on, Larry, I will give it a shot.
I don't think I would with you, Larry, because that jab would pop straight into my face and I'd probably be lying on the floor.
Yeah, but if I tell you, I ain't gonna hit you that hard.
Well, I still don't believe you. But I might. I might. I know what you mean. But when do you know? When do you know? You were in an era. Let me take you to that era. An era of extraordinary fighters. When you look back on it, can you believe there were maybe 10 of you who are of the quality, perhaps, and I'll come to it slowly, of one fighter today, of Tyson Fury, who just dominates everyone. He's head and shoulders above everyone. But there were 10 of you at the time, weren't there?
Yeah, listen, every corner of your time, you know, you're gonna get one of them. You're gonna get Muhammad Ali. You're gonna get Joe Frazier. You're gonna get Kenny Norton. You're gonna get Ernie Shavers. You're gonna get Jerry Cooney. I mean,
You've got George Foreman in there as well.
George Foreman in there, and we threw all these guys together.
Yeah.
And these fighters of the day, I don't knock them. I don't want to knock them, but they couldn't stand up against us.
Did you learn the skills in a different way that day, and were you physically different? Do you think?
Yeah, I was physically different because I did my road work. I got up in the morning and I ran, I exercised, and I trained in the gym hard, I boxed hard, and I was ready to go. Today, they don't do that. I got a gym in there, and I might have 5 kids in boxing, little kids. I want to be like Larry Holmes. Well, you don't want to be like me if you don't want to train. And that's it.
But do you think that the street smarts that you learnt in the ring were different then, all the kind of the way that things are passed down, do you not feel it's different now, a little different?
It's different. It's very different. These guys are not fighters. They want to get the money. That's the big thing. Money now. If they can't get the money, they'll quit. You know, you watch fights every Friday or something now, they got them on to get their commercials and stuff on there like that. Fighters are hungry and they want to fight, but they don't want to fight nobody that can fight. And that's what happens.
How good was Mike Tyson in your view? Comparing in the eras.
From Joe Frazier all the way down, height 7 or 8. Because he got a punch, he punches. You can't take that away from him. But you know, you talking about Joe Frazier, you talking about Muhammad Ali, you talk about Kenny Norton, you talk about George Foreman. There's so many of them that Mike Tyson will have to get through. You know, like George Foreman wouldn't fight me.
That's right. It's never happened.
I called him and called him and called him. He wouldn't fight me. You know, because I got to move on a jab. I don't want to stand there in front of you. Mike Tyson stand there in front of you. He might do that and try to push you against the ropes. And when he throws to push you against the ropes, he throws that overhand right and overhand left. But he ain't gonna be able to do that to you.
So if you could have fought him 6 years earlier, for example, 6, 7 years earlier when you were in your reign, do you think it would have been a different fight?
And the new heavyweight champion of the world, Larry Holmes. That's how they called it.
If I call these names out, like I'd say the top 4 or 5 heavyweights of today, Dillian White, could he have lived in the era?
Dillian White?
Fury just beat.
Yeah, I don't even know him really.
Okay. Deontay Wilder, could he have lived in the era?
Wilder, yeah, he had a rough time. But
he might have knocked the odd one out.
Because he's big.
Yeah.
And that's what he got going for us.
Yeah.
Like Joe Frazier knocked people out, and he was only 5'10".
Yeah, it's incredible when you think about it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Joe. I work with Joe, man. That's a sparring partner. And he broke my ribs, you know. Didn't give me no day off, but he broke my ribs. walking around like this. He wouldn't give me no day off, man. The joke, man, my rib broke my rib. Yeah, broke my rib. You don't work, you don't get paid. So I work. You know what I mean?
Anthony Joshua in that era?
I don't know. He haven't really shown a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like a right tomato or something you want to call it. He might have it, but he's not showing it.
Yeah, we don't know yet, do we?
Right, we don't know. I don't know yet because he punches. We know he can hit, but the guys that he fought and hit over there, you know. I ain't gonna knock him and try to say he was bad, not a great fighter or whatever. But I'm not gonna say that he's not a great fighter because you know that you gotta take this for granted. Great is you talking about a great fighter. You got to go great, you know. And he didn't. I don't think he hit that part yet.
What about Tyson Fury then?
Same thing. Some guys are big, nice size, strong. If I was fighting and I was better in shape than I am now, I try to see what they got. I put them on the table and say, let's do it.
I think you and Fury would have been an interesting fight.
It could have been.
It would have been a battle of the jabs early on.
You know what though? I have a change up. I box going in or staying out.
Yeah.
Side to side. I said I could do that. No guys can do that. A lot of guys can't change their switches. They're not switch hitters. But I can switch it. Jab, right hand. And these guys.
Can you say that again, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, I nearly jumped backwards when you did that. Oh, yeah.
And that's the way I do it. You know.
We all get older. We all, yeah, we do. I know. We have grandchildren, and we have great grandchildren. Eventually, all those things. Are you happy for your gifts that you were given?
Yeah, I'm happy. I can't complain, and I don't like to knock nobody, but I like to tell the truth.
You do.
When you talk about it, you know.
You have your days when you're on fire with that as well.
Yeah, I used to do this sparring partners. Put $10,000 on my head. You get me, knock me down and stuff. You got $10,000. And they tried to knock me down. I never knew it.
No, never did. No.
But they was trying,
yeah.
And I was beating them up. And while I was beating them up, you know, Larry Holmes was sad, so sorry that he did it. So I heard them guys. It cuts here, black guys here. You know, a lot of things I wouldn't even want to say to you.
I could talk to you all night. I've got to ask, and it's always amazing to speak to you. I know there's so much wisdom in you from life. You've been there, done it, survived it, and gone on and on and on, and done so many things. I'm not going to list them all because I know a lot of them. We've interviewed together 4 or 5 times. We've been here a long time. I've got to ask you about Jerry Cooney. Okay, you're on tour with him. You had a 13-round fight. It was 13 rounds you knocked him out in 1982 at Caesar's Palace. 30,000 people outside. He was a dirty bugger, wasn't he? I mean, I think he got 3 points deducted for low blows in you in that fight. Do you remember all that?
Yeah. You know, the thing is, you know, they wanted the money. They could have waited another 6 months or a year and took me. I'm factory shot, you know. I ain't as good as I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was on my downhill slide when I took that fight with Jerry Cooney. And we remained friends. He should have been here earlier when he was here because he would ask him a lot of questions. I like Jerry. I didn't like him, but I liked Jerry, you know, because he was big, he was strong, and he was taking Larry Holmes on. And they gave me a lot of feeling because he didn't back down.
Yeah.
And
You put him down early in that fight as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
And he kept coming.
Kept coming.
What were there really? I'm going to ask you this, Larry. I mean, obviously it was promoted by Don King, I think, and
John King's a good guy.
oh yeah, but what was there? Were they selling it? There were racial undertones during the fight. Was that just selling the fight, or was it real?
No, Don wants to sell everything. He
Right.
sell the hair off your head.
Yeah.
You know, your baby girl. Don is Don. But you know what? I talked to him last week. He called me up. He said, Larry, I want you to do me a favor. And I'm going to pay you for doing this favor. I said, what you want? He said, I got a fighter. I can't think of his name now. He says,
Well, heavyweight.
heavyweight.
Trevor Bryan.
Trevor
Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I want you to teach him how to jab. You don't know how to teach him nothing else, but he's the punching ass. He said, but I need him to know how to jab.
Yeah.
And nobody can teach him how to jab but you. I said, okay. And I went to the camp that he was in up in Grocers
That's interesting, yeah.
and thought he was going to show me how he jabbed and worked. No, he didn't do that. He didn't want to show me it. He was going to shadow box him on the ring, you know, like that. And I'm up there watching this man box. He's supposed to give me, he gave me $10,000. He ended up giving $5,000 because he didn't do nothing. This kid didn't want to do nothing, but now they want me to come back.
He's fighting one of our guys, Daniel Dubois.
Yeah. But they want me to come back up there to the mountain.
I think you should go and teach him the jab.
I will go, but you know, I got other things to do too. You know, I got.
Yeah. But can I just, were there really racial undertones between you and Jerry or not? Or was that just selling it?
Let's call Jerry up and put Jerry.
I'm going to ask Jerry. I'll ask Jerry, yeah.
Yeah, it was no racial.
It wasn't really black against white. Mm-mm. No. There was no dislike over that.
They made it like that.
They made it,
They
right.
made it like that. But I told Jerry like this, and I tell you and anybody else, fuck them. They ain't don't worry about them because they can kiss my butt because I like Jerry Cooney, and Jerry Cooney likes me.
You've been friends ever since the fight, haven't you? Yeah.
And today in here, you know, we sit together, you know, talk stuff like that, and he's okay. Jerry's okay. Now,
Well, you've got to spend a week with him now, so you've got to be okay.
Yeah.
You've got to go on stage together. You're going to get up and rumble a little bit as well, or not?
Man, I don't know about that. If we talking about like that.
Yeah,
you know,
rubbling with the tongues. Yeah,
but
exactly.
that's it. But you know, and I'm gonna tell you something. Jerry Cooney hit hard and sick. So he hit hard. You know, you talking about hitting hard. I told Jerry after, man, you know, how he said, send me back to Africa. The way that's how hard he hit. That's how hard Jerry
In an era of very hard hitters as well. Yeah.
He listen.
He still hits us today. Honestly, I wasn't joking when I came in. He always gives me a dig to the ribs when I arrive in Vegas.
Yeah,
When you're not looking, he gives you the left. He dips the body, gives you a left to the ribs.
Yeah.
Just to remind you that he's still there.
Yeah.
I bet he doesn't do that to you, though.
Yeah, he do. He don't give a shit. Jerry, come on. Oh, Jerry, stop. You always doing that. No, man, nobody know, you know.
So when you're around Jerry, keep your elbows in, yeah?
Yeah, you gotta watch Jerry.
Larry, honestly, I could speak to you all night. It's an absolute privilege and a pleasure to spend some time with you always and to speak to you. You are one of the great people of our sport, and it's brilliant to see you.
And I thank you, man. I thank you, man, because people don't know. And if you guys don't educate them with this radio and TV and stuff, they ain't gonna know either, you know? So I'm gonna tell you and help to find out whatever we know. And that's what I do. And I ain't mad at nobody. I love everybody. I ain't mad at nobody. If they wanted the thing that they was trying to do with me and Jerry, black wife. Half of my family is white. What the hell are you talking about? You know? But Jerry's a good guy.
Thank you, sir.